right, folks, another midweek here, and so let's hang out as journalists. I welcome you to another journalist hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, Theresa May arrives Nigeria, says Nigeria home to the poorest in the world. INEC bows to National Assembly, agrees with approved 143 billion naira election budget. Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency issues flood warning to 7 northern states. And later on this one, National Bureau of Statistics says road crashes have killed 12,797 Nigerians in 30 months. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Jide, I greet you. Good evening to you.
Good evening, you're welcome.
And of course, we have Dare Odufor-Okan. I greet you, Dare.
Good evening, sir.
So the team is ready. I hope you are. Okay, I believe we have been there before. A British Member of Parliament, Mr. Ivan Lewis, had in June 2013 said Nigeria was too rich for its people to live in extreme poverty and deprivation. 5 years on, we are there again. Visiting British Prime Minister Theresa May re-echoed the seeming vulgar sentiment in faraway Cape Town, South Africa, where she remarked that Africa, lamentably, had the highest number of poor people on the planet, with our Nigeria accounting for 87 million who live below the poverty line. This appears to be unkind words, but nothing could be wrong with being brutally frank with a country that has no excuse to be poor. Jide, we've been there before. So I don't think Theresa May is saying anything, unfriendly. She's behaving like a true friend. Giving you your mirror, giving your reflection.
Just reminding you of who you are.
Yeah.
Of you, who you are. It's not like we do not know who we are, but we are very good at pretending.
You are not appreciating who you are.
Who we are not. Because we are very good at pretending that we are who we are not. I appreciate the home truth when it is delivered by the right person. So when it's delivered by the right person, yes, many people will take the message seriously. The fact is, out of every 5 African, there's a Nigerian in terms of the sheer size of our population. So when Theresa May says that Africa is home to the world's poorest, and then she drilled it home, she drilled it further home by saying that 87 million Nigerians live below $1.90 a day.
What you people call the poverty line.
Yes, the poverty line. In every way, when you look at our country, you see that we have really, really been going down steadily over the years.
By choice.
By the misfortune of bad leadership. I don't think it's the choice of you and I to be where we are.
The choice of leaders.
Yes, by the kind of leaders that we have had the misfortune of having. This is a fact. Today, if we have maybe 2 cycles of good leadership, our story would be even better than that of Botswana. These were countries that in the past Nigeria used to send money to.
Oh, yeah.
They've all left us behind. So it makes sense for us to talk about where we are. When the World Health Organization was rating the health systems of countries of the world, Nigeria rated number 187 out of 191. You know what that means? What that means, which is shattering to me, is that we are only ahead of Myanmar, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Central African Republic. Look at the company that we have found ourselves. And then do you know some of the countries ahead of us? some of the countries that we sneer at, that we look at as failed nations.
Start from
Chad. Chad is ahead of us. Niger Republic is ahead of us. Benin Republic is ahead of us. These are countries that we look down on our continent. They are ahead of us because they can boast. You can see a country like Togo is number 135. Niger Republic is 152. Mali is 170. Chad is 163. And Nigeria is 187.
The same shot.
If we are capable of thinking as a people, occasionally we should sit down in the inner recesses of our homes and just be shedding tears. That why have things been going steadily down for us as a nation? So we just need to tell ourselves the truth. But we enjoy just speaking grammar all over the place, sophistry that does not have any substance.
Put Gary on your table.
Yes, just deceiving the people, speaking English.
Rhetorics.
And good leadership always makes the difference. You and I know what is going on in Rwanda today. If they told you 10 years ago that Rwanda will make such giant leap within a short time.
Wake up from sleep.
Because it's China that talks about giant leap. You would say, no, it's not possible. It's too, it can't happen to a country that was on the throes of death in the 90s.
Now you are playing catch up.
We are playing catch up. And the gap between us and some of those countries suggests to me that, look, to even catch up will be a long shot.
Dari, very good analogy. He has also spoken grammar, you know. You understand?
Then grammar that takes the seat over.
Saying it
As
it
the conveyor belt of my message.
No, I understand. But Africa did not elect to be where she is now. I'm saying during the partition, you know, all these big powers came, scrambled for Africa, and we are not allowed to grow. So when you hear Africans die in their 10s and 20s trying to cross the Mediterranean, it tells you something is wrong on the inside. Yes. The richest spot on this planet today is Congo DR.
Yeah, in
all
Africa.
The mineral resources
Timber,
on this, everything in that country. Amen. But it cannot.
Diamonds.
Well, you perhaps have also succeeded in adding to
the
grammar that takes the message home. You see, if this is the kind of grammar a politician speak, I'm sure we won't be where we are now.
No, as you say, if they walked the talk, they talk.
Even the talk itself.
They speak the grammar of Naira and Kobo.
It's in Naira and Kobo. And that Naira and Kobo has never been in our interest. And when we talk about Africa, Nigeria not being allowed to grow, well, we want to talk about what happened during the partitioning era, the slave trade era. Well, must we continue to cry over spilled milk? What have we been able to do with the opportunities we've had since independence? Coming back home, talking about Nigeria and where we are today, I will agree perfectly with Babajide that the leaders we are unfortunate to be saddled with. Because if Nigerians, in the real sense of it,
we didn't
choose most of these leaders.
Elect them.
We didn't even choose them in the sense of choosing. We had military rulers who forced themselves on us.
Yes.
When they left, we've had civilians who found their ways to power. If I don't even want to use the word rig, they found their ways to power beyond our, reach.
Yeah.
Where you saw Nigerians say, in 1993, Nigerians came out and said, yes, we want to elect a president for ourselves. Against all odds, a Muslim ticket. Nigerians said, religion, tribe will not play a part here. We have elected this man as our president. He never got there. Then we have had successive civilian administrations that, after our election, one or two persons who played...
Or selection.
Critical roles in their emergence will come and say, this was how we rigged it. We've had that in succession. So what I'm trying to say is, perhaps if we had been lucky to have been able to elect real leaders, this issue of we are not supposed to
Dari,
be poor.
but like the lawyer, let me put it to you that we deserve the rulers or leaders we have.
If we deserve it, the
Can
leaders...
can you expand that logic?
Yes, I don't want to disagree with that position, only on the basis of the fact that over the years, the leaders we had created the people we are when they had the opportunity. So how are we going to change until the system producing these leaders change? And if you look at it, Nigeria is the poorest nation. Theresa May is telling us Africa has no reason being poor. She singled out Nigeria, saying 87 million of you live below poverty line. I think this message is for our leaders in many ways. One, Nigeria also prides itself as one of the nations with the highest number of rich men in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see the contrast? We have the highest...
Let me quote her. Much of Nigeria is thriving with many individuals enjoying the fruits of a resurgent economy, yet 87 million Nigerians are
poor. So you have the highest number of rich people on the planet, I mean, on the continent. You have the highest number of poor people. Simply put, a few people are sitting on that collective patrimony. And to change the status quo, to allow the ordinary man come above, we are not saying the ordinary man should become rich, come above poverty line. Then a few of those enjoying this patrimony must release them.
All right.
And the message is clear, coming from a sitting United Kingdom head of state.
Okay.
Very clear.
Jide, still sticking with her, she's saying UK is planning to sign a deal with Kenya to ensure the repatriation of stolen Kenyan funds stuck in the UK. It applies to us too.
Yeah. Yes, and those countries have been helping us. But
the UK?
The UK, America, they've helped us. They've repatriated Switzerland. Those countries have shown interest. And you've seen the Swiss government even send stolen funds back to Nigeria, grudgingly and with conditions. Send stolen funds back to Nigeria. But what happens? The stolen funds sent to Nigeria are not used in a conscientious way. I don't want to say at all times the funds get reluted, because I may find it difficult to prove that. And it's not everything that the politicians say that I believe. But we have no evidence of proper use being put to these funds. So it borders them to the people repatriating the funds. It borders them to that. Why must we continue to do this? But the truth is, the West is hypocritical in keeping stolen funds. If you are the warehouse of stolen funds, you are as complicit as the people looting Africa. Because you must create a system that makes it even impossible for them to have an haven.
Let me take David. He's here. David, I greet you. Welcome. Hello, David. You are in Lagos. Are you there?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
My name is David, calling from Motion.
Let's go, sir.
I would like to make my contribution. In June 1993, when the election was conducted, there was no Christian in Nigeria. That was why Abiola and Kingibe won the election. What we are facing today is, a problem of Christian and Muslim. And actually, it's not the issue of Muslim or Christian, it's purely leadership question. The kind of people that rule us are wicked, satanic, inconsiderate. They have nothing to contribute. Even in 2019, those that are still coming, there is nothing that good coming from them. God bless you. Good evening.
Many thanks. So we buried Jide quickly.
Yes, I think that by allowing their countries to be the warehouse of stolen funds, they are complicit in the underdevelopment of Africa. They are complicit in the looting of the wealth of Africa. So they have to come up with processes, with systems that ensure that there is no haven for stolen funds from this continent. That will help us. You know, once you conscript the space where they can keep stolen funds, they know that they have to keep money here. You know?
At least let them keep the funds.
They'll keep it here,
not in my state,
which is
in
what
your state.
Malaysia. You know, Malaysia had to come up with a system that encourages even looters to invest what they've stolen in their country.
Maybe you should do it here. Come on.
Well, if we do that, that would be fantastic. It would be a good
in exchange for some clemency and all that.
That's it, yeah, okay. Yeah. So, well, the debate will continue. At least we have provoked it. Theresa May is telling us that a healthy African economy is good for the UK and also good for Africans themselves. Thank you. Now, budgeting for elections, at least in Africa, are as tedious as the electoral processes themselves and vary from country to country. The Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC, has yielded to an approved 143 billion naira by the joint committees of the Senate and the House of Reps ahead of the 2019 general elections. The figure was arrived at from a previous estimate of 189 billion. The electoral body has, by this act, submitted a reviewed budgetary proposal to that effect for approval. The balance of 45.6 billion is captured in the 2019 budget. The INEC may now go to work, Jide.
Yes, it's a good thing that progress has been made, because I had heard some Nigerians say, oh, there are some people who don't want the election to hold. Politicians don't want election to hold because they are not certain that they will win. We are seeing movement, we are seeing progress along this line. Clearly now, the Joint Committee of the National Assembly has decided to go by the budget presented by the President, which is 143 billion. And they've told INEC, go and adjust, prioritize certain things. Do not prioritize some things. So that at the end of the day, you will be able to align your budget with what the document, the budget document for INEC that the President has come up with. So, and you can see, but today now, there are bills to actually present, the subcommittee is being to present a report on its work, because they promised to look at the INEC budget column by column, you know, paragraph by paragraph, so that they can be seen at the end of the day to have done due diligence. Yes, it's natural that this budget has gone up. I've seen some Nigerians make so much noise that, oh, this budget is high. But when you imagine that we actually had 44 parties in 2015, and we are talking about 19 or 91. 91 now. So there is no way that it won't cost more money.
Although we must quickly add, we are not going to have 91 presidential candidates. No, on the ballot.
Yes, but the parties will be on the ballot. More columns will be created for them. What it then means is, because I'm still talking about the budget and the justification for the bloated nature. Yes. Now, it means that they will print more. Because even INEC has registered 21 million more voters at the last count, you know, which means, is it 21 or 12 million? 12 million more. 12 million more voters, you know, which means that you have to print more ballot papers. INEC says that it has created 68 new polling units, you know. So it means, is it polling constituencies? Constituencies, not polling units. Yeah. So it means that there will be more polling units.
More ballot boxes.
Yes, more ballot boxes. So electoral materials, you have to come up with more electoral materials. So this is one reason that the budget has really climbed up. But at the end of the day, it is not the size of the budget that is the concern of the average Nigerian. It is the fidelity of the process. I want to see a process that makes me proud as a Nigerian. Because for so long, we've been used to ballot box snatching. We've been used to crookedness demonstrated on election day. We must get to that point when everyone can be happy on election day. We must get to a point when election days look like carnival days.
Yeah.
When everyone will be happy, not days when you lock up everywhere. In other countries, they don't lock up their country because they are going on election. Election should not be a matter of life and death. But by and large, people's votes must count. That is what matters.
Which is key.
And that is what INEC should be trying its best to achieve.
Dari, let's quickly add that INEC has denied a so-called 6 billion naira budget for feeding policemen on electoral duty. You know, so you are wondering where a story like that could have come from.
Yeah, well, like you just heard Jide say, there was actually an attempt to paint not just the budget, but also the process black. People feeling, oh, you know, when Nigerians, and I don't blame Nigerians for this. Over the years, we've had huge figures being bandied around, so much that we are now nostalgia about amounts and figures. So people have been wondering, what will INEC be doing with this huge amount? So in the process, perhaps some people sat down somewhere and came up with that unbelievable story of 6 billion. But good enough, INEC said we didn't plan that. But
and the exchange rate has changed between 2015 and now.
Oh, yeah.
You see, I quite
Even
agree.
The petroleum product prices have changed.
I perfectly agree that there is need for the change we've seen in the figure, because the number of parties, like he said, a lot of things. Moreover, we are looking forward to see a better process than what we had in 2015. If that is our desire, I am quite pleased with both INEC and the National Assembly for this resolution. And INEC should go to work, having in mind that Nigerians will take nothing short for an acceptable, credible, and obviously sincere process that will lead to the emergence of new leaders in 2019. This is more because we are at a very critical time in our nation's history, especially politically. A lot of things will change after 2019, especially if we get it right. Because now the process, if you go back to 2003, 2007, 2011, what we had in 2015 was a far better scenario. And you can see the import. The result was Nigerians becoming more aware and more interested in the politics of their own country. Leaders are getting to know that the average voter is conscious, more conscious than they used to be. And if you don't perform, Nigerians are eager to boot you out through the ballot box and not through any other means. The campaigns going about for people to go get their PVC, the agitation to be part of the next election, the desire being expressed by Nigerians to be part of the process that will produce the next set of leaders will not amount to anything if INEC fails to do its own work well. And that is why to whom much is given, much is expected. Much is really expected.
All right. Let's quickly take Pius. Is reaching us from faraway Kaduna State. How are you, Pius?
Very fine, I'm fine. Good evening to Babajide.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yes, let's go.
For INEC, yes, it is good as they approve that money for them. But what we are after in this country now is for them to give us what is not as a credible election. We need a credible election. Let the vote of the electorate count in the coming election. That is all what we are after. I would like to thank Babajide for his contribution so far, and you, the presenter, and the other guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Jide, you know, when you stop expecting people to be perfect with the electoral process, for instance, then you can accept them for what they are. What do I mean? If the election comes and goes and the result is released, Nigerians should be ready to allow the train to be on track.
Yes.
Accept the outcome as sportsmen.
Yes, but it's when elections are free and fair.
Who determines that?
Yeah, everyone will know when an election is free and fair.
Okay.
Let me tell you, we've made some progress between 2011 and now, no doubt about it. And one way of determining the progress that we have made is the fact that litigation arising from conduct of election reduced drastically in 2015. That is testament to the fact that INEC has improved its processes. The idea of the card reader being used as a means of authenticating the validity of a voter has really helped, because before now, where you just go and line up, people will impersonate other people, voters' cards will be given to the wrong people to go and vote, and you see kids and all that. I'm not saying that kids voting has become a thing of the past, but this electronic accreditation process has reduced the capacity of crooked politicians to manipulate the process. No one is saying that it's impossible, but at least that has been reduced. You know, and that is actually the foundation. Once you can ensure that those who have no business partaking in the process are kept away, you have made significant progress in terms of ensuring the fidelity of the election. Now, what we have not been able to resolve, one, violence during our election. We've not been able to solve the problem. You see government mobilizing 35,000 soldiers, 15,000 civil defense, and everybody as if we are going to war. But on election day, people still snatch ballot boxes. And in some cases, with the connivance of security agencies. I remember in 2015, soldiers were captured on camera, snatching ballot boxes in Rivers State. Captured on camera, snatching ballot boxes. And what usually happens where people have made up their minds to steal, to rig, they deliberately will go to where the opponent is strong, cause some upheavals in that area, and what will happen? INEC will say because of vote rigging, because of violence, that it is cancelling election in those areas. Go and look at what happened in Kogi State. This last election.
The man who is strong in that.
Yes, go and look at what happened in the last Kogi election, the by-election. It's a disgrace. The number, the quantum of voided votes, precipitated by violence, or reports of violence, or alleged violence, is extremely high. So you now see that it is the tool in the hands of politicians to deliberately cause crisis in certain areas so that votes will not maximally count in those areas. So rigging rigging now has come in various forms. Even the new fad, which is to buy the votes of our poor people.
Oh, yeah.
Is another form of rigging. And politicians who have impoverished our people have now devised another method. These days, they don't work with INEC so much to rig. They just go and be buying the souls of our people, buying the future of our people, on election day.
No. It is wrong to say they buy. The people sell. Please, it takes two to tango.
It's because someone has something. If you are not offered money,
you won't sell for free.
You will not sell. Why was that not common in 2011? Because it is a new thing. It is new. And everyone thinks now, look at in the Bauchi, this last election in Bauchi, in the remote areas, people were being given as little as 100 naira. To go and vote. In urban centers, in some cases, 500. I have video of a shameless politician distributing money in Bauchi in front of electoral officers.
And for people to
in front of electoral officers. And security men who were there were looking away. Whereas as part of the Electoral Act, such inducement of the voter should not happen. You say no.
To even quickly add to that, as my take on this, is the fact that, sadly, we are all happy about the euphoria of PVC collection and registration. You see, in some areas in this
But
country,
INEC is still begging in so many
even
places.
this increase,
Still begging for collection.
even this
want to
increase,
collect and they
listen,
can't.
even this increase, sadly, in some areas, is as a result of the people's awareness that once they have PVC on election day, they can collect money.
They can collect money. It's your
That's
passport.
how bad
It's your passport
what he is trying
to sell
to
your vote.
explain is. People tell you they will go. Well, you have been spending hours lying up in the sun. They say this is 1,000 naira on election day. This is, in fact, I will tell them if they can't.
No, are you saying poverty is responsible for
Poverty
that?
is responsible.
No,
Our leaders.
but that's a cheap logic.
No,
if you
see,
ask
poverty,
me.
because we have been impoverished. Our leaders, because they have stolen so much and they are willing to offer. People in primary elections in this country, especially the last set
They
of
also
primary
give them
elections,
money.
offered as much as 350,000 to one delegate.
Oh.
350,000 to a delegate.
More than that. In presidential primaries, people get as much as $8,000.
Now, take a look at a
Delegates.
statement like this. Somebody, a top politician, who contested for governor in one of the southwestern states, a governorship of a leading political party, said in the past, he was campaigning. He was
You
campaigning.
said so at the
On the
at
podium.
soapbox.
Yes, on the soapbox. In the past, it used to be Diboko Sebe, meaning it used to be vote and cook a pot of soup. He said, as I'm speaking to you now, it's now
Whatever
Diboko
that means.
Kole. That is vote and build a house.
And
That
you
is
know why
explaining-
that is possible? These delegates, because it's boom
Delegates.
time for them,
Yes.
delegates will collect money from up to 3
all
or
the
4
aspirants.
aspirants.
And decide who to vote for.
And the reason now, what people do is, if you have the means, you go and camp your own delegates.
From the night before,
the
so they won't
delegates
go
whose
elsewhere.
conscience you have bought,
Yes,
you will
you
now
keep
camp
them in one place.
They won't put them in that city. They will
them
take
away.
them to a city close to
where they will vote.
Yes, so
And they will bring them
they
in
will now
with
bring them in on the day
money
of
of
the election. So that the other people will
Will
have
not be
no
able to
access.
buy them.
You won't even have access to campaign to them. So it defeats the idea of
the
election
purpose of
because
democracy.
you and I should be able to interface
Tell
with
me what
the
you want
voter.
to do. But the interfacing now
It's
is
just
for me
about
to
money.
collect money.
Once I've given you money, I deny you access to the other aspirants.
There is another.
But again,
there's even another
but
scenario.
don't consider this a lazy counter logic. But it takes two to tango.
That is what we are saying.
takes two.
If there is no it takes two to tango. But if there is no buyer, if there is no demand, supply naturally dies.
Is the condition...
If you don't offer me good money, will I sell my vote
Wait
for
now,
you?
the thing really is,
Can
if
you
you don't...
Even if I want to sell,
Now, if you
Can
and
you
I...
go to buy?
Can you be bought? Just a minute. Oyeyemi is in Lagos.
good
Please,
evening, sir.
I beg, save the evening for us. Welcome.
How are you? Good evening to your panel of journalists there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My conclusion is that people are shouting it is because of poverty. That's why people are collecting money. To me, I don't see it this way. Because even when they win election, or when they won election, there is nothing that will come back to the common man. So even if you vote for them without collecting money and they won, nothing will flow down to the common man.
You lose
So
on
that's
both,
what the common
on
man
both
must
counts.
collect works.
Then when they won the election.
It's one of the reasons.
So to me,
It's
that's
just one of the
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah, let him land. Yeah.
It's made this one.
Oyeyemi, so we are in a cul-de-sac.
he's
just
trying
one
to
of the
buttress
issues.
your point of
Yeah.
it takes two to tango.
Yes, yes.
His argument that even when you vote for them without collecting money, nothing comes to you, is one of the reasons why more people are encouraged to ask for money.
You and I, all
You know
three
what
of
people always say? That, okay, for example, in the legislative elections, you vote for these people. They go to Abuja. And they forget
about you for 4
They do
years.
not care about the constituency. Not simply to give money, but to develop those
Yeah,
constituencies.
yes.
They do not care. So people will say, oh, leave
what's
them.
the point?
We won't see them until the next
let's
4 years.
collect money from
what
them.
let's take what we can take now. But even that
Doesn't change the situation.
symptomatic of a decaying political process. But
all right.
I know that if you are a man of considerable means,
In fact,
why should you sell your
once I
conscience?
even vote for
all
you
right,
without collecting money, I can question you.
Dare,
Why should
and-
you offer me
Dare
money?
and,
Why?
Dare and Jide, the backroom
Why
boys
should you
are
offer me
saying,
money?
enough.
If you won't buy, I won't sell.
Hold on, the production team has had enough of you.
Because we must stop that thing from happening.
Yeah, really, it is terrible. We must find a way around it.
Again, the debate must continue. But for me, it takes two to tango. Now, still to come, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency has issued a flood warning to 7 northern states. Please stay. Okay then, at a critical time of global warming matters, it bears repeating that water cycle and life cycle are one and the same thing. They are interdependent. And so when hydrologists speak, you've got to listen and listen good. A shift in rainfall pattern has been forecast by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, and 7 northern states in the country are in the line of fire from unusual flooding. The NIHSA, through its DG, Olayinka Ogunwale, predicts that with a rise in the River Niger's northeastern states, we must be ready for the floodings ahead. Jide, this has nothing to do with it is not my portion. When it comes, it comes.
It's everyone's portion.
So I'm looking at the
natural disasters are very hardly discriminate.
Okay.
When they come, if you
don't
are
know-
lucky,
they don't know your
it's on
portion or
your.
not.
If you are, for example, this River Niger now, if you are living along the banks of River Niger, these are dangerous times. And that is what these guys are saying to Nigerians, that look, relocate. Because if we do not relocate, when the flood waters come, they can take you with them.
Put simply, water will find its level.
Water will not just find its level, water will sweep you away. Water will sweep you away.
If you are on its
and
way.
then those who have built houses along floodplains, it's a problem. When it happened in Benue State last year, a lot of those people had built houses along floodplains.
Yeah, the river Benue banks and
Yes,
so on.
and
Yeah, I remember.
by the time the floods came, they were in trouble. It led to serious humanitarian crisis before the humanitarian crisis that herdsmen killings now precipitated. So, but we are being warned now that, look, we have to do something. And even before this warning, we have seen what flooding can do. Just this year, you saw the flooding in Katsina that killed so many people. Some of the victims, their corpses were recovered in Niger Republic. You know, in Niger Republic. So it's that bad. Today, in Kebbi State, 13 local governments have flood hit.
Yeah.
And out of the 14, 13 communities are completely submerged. That has its own implications because people have rice farms that will be swept away by flood. So these guys are saying, come on.
Relocate.
Even in urban cities like Lagos, like even Abeokuta, flood will happen. So, but how do we respond quickly? Because that is the challenge that we have. We can't stop flooding from happening every year. But we should show that because this thing happens every year, we should have perfected our art of addressing the problem, of relocating people quickly, of stopping people from building on water channels, or stopping people from building on floodplains. So
Or
that
dropping refuse
in canals.
Yeah.
In canals. So beyond that, even the dams, some of the dams like Kainji Dam, Jeba Dam, are already silting up. Well, once they are silting up, the implication is that their capacity to store water, because
If the ban does break,
their capacity to store water will have gone down seriously, and then they will spill downstream. So once they spill downstream, those in Lokoja, those in all of those areas, they're in trouble. So we have been warned. Coastal communities, because this unusual rainfall pattern, we've been told that is a function of the global warming and the rest of it. So we cannot do anything about it. We just have to prepare get all our
the
emergency
worst.
agencies ready to evacuate our people so that we can save more lives. That's just what we need to do.
You know, I don't know about Nigerians believing weather forecasters, you know, but they say across the seas in the West, when the meteorologists, when they tell you this is happening, it will. We don't have Hurricane Akpan or Hurricane Dare or Hurricane Kolade, but I want to, for once, believe the meteorological services and the hydrological services. Now, this is where you expect the National Orientation Agency and other and related agencies to go to town. It's not demeaning to say, look, go back to the town crier system.
Yeah, well, because we still have village settings in the country. We still have communities that are very local. We still have,
especially those of them who live by the banks.
I mean, these areas that will be affected.
Rural communities.
Rural settings, rural communities.
Farming communities.
So if we go by what they know, we go by what will work for us in talking to them. Nigerian Orientation Agency is one big body that should know that its functions goes beyond speaking on the internet and in the televisions and in the radios. It must also inculcate those old ways of talking to people and they will hear. The Yorubas will say, you say it to them where they used to hear. You don't need to speak big grammars to people.
The kereo thing.
Yes. If it's kereo, do kereo. So that when it happens...
Sorry, in my language.
So when you do that, and a few, hopefully, refuses to heed, and they are consumed, you will be able to, feel in your conscience that you did all that was possible at that time to ensure that this didn't happen. Because, these are natural disasters. It is good that we are even being forewarned that we are seeing this. Either we have a culture of believing meteorologists or geologists or not. Why don't we just take them for what they are saying and prove them liars by leaving that place the moment, that time they said these things will happen. And if it doesn't happen, we can both say, well, we just left for nothing. But don't wait for it to happen and be told that you were warned. Because it is not going to come to those that will be affected, or even those of us that will see it happen, as anything good. However, water, when it decides to move, you can't stop it. And if you are found to be on its way, and you have been warned to move, I want to just appeal to Nigerians, because we also have a problem here. We've just spoken about the agencies that should talk to our people. We must also talk about our people who are so attached, sentimentally attached to their homestead, so much that they will give you 1,001 reasons why they cannot leave that place for just a few days. Not to talk of months or permanently. But when you are found to be on the way of things that can bring disaster, there is no other way than for you to move. Maybe we can now appeal to the government to begin to consider resettling these people. When we have resettlement schemes, it will be more encouraging, because these people don't just have their homes in these places. They have their farms. But I didn't mention rice farms, especially in this northeast. They will lose a lot of things.
Not west this time.
Kebbi.
Northwest.
Northwest. No, but this talks about
Kebbi.
Kebbi, Zamfara,
one of the worst
Sokoto.
It will also be affected.
So Niger,
the Niger.
The states bordering the
river Niger. So you can understand the impact of what we are talking about. They will feel, this is too much for us to bear. The government should now come up with schemes.
We must bury this year, but Jide and Dare will be, you won't hold this against me. The highest port in Lagos is the Ikosikito area, so we are okay, so.
Well, yeah, neighbors
we are safe.
We are neighbors of Maidan and
Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Kogi, Anambra, Delta, Bayelsa. They've been warned.
The areas.
And then Sokoto, Ogun, Osun, Cross River, and Yobe have high risk of flooding.
Thank God, my own
Lagos, Cross River, and Delta have
he has not finished reading
flash and urban floods are expected in those states.
There's Kogi there.
Yes, because River Niger.
I'm not alone.
That is former state. All right then. Okay. Let's move over now. Now, accidents are never happenstances. They are almost all the time caused by man. Road fatalities, as avoidable as they are, continue to kill, maim, and immobilize on our roads. The National Bureau of Statistics says no less than 12,797 Nigerians were killed in 2016 and between 2016 and the first 6 months of 2018. Now, these fatalities are caused by speed violation, drunk driving, drunk driving, tire bursts, among others. The issuance of driver licenses to undeserving drivers is another critical factor. These things will still keep recurring.
You know,
you will keep licensing people who are not supposed to drive.
Yes.
A man must drive when he is drunk. He wants to show them he can drive and all that.
He wants to show them he can run.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they see a good vehicle. Remember what happened when we lost a minister.
Oh, yeah.
We lost a minister, and the investigation carried out by FRSC showed that the fellow who drove the minister's sports utility vehicle did not have a valid license. So if someone can drive such a high-profile personality without having a valid license, it shows how terrible our systems are.
Don't tell anybody I said there's some crazy thing like holy water when you want to drive. Go on.
Holy water, you will explain that to me at the end of. But you see, what bothers me, frankly, is that year on year, the fatality figure
keeps
rising. In 2016, 5,053 people died. In 2017...
No, Jide, were killed. They didn't elect to die. They were killed, yeah.
Killed by road crashes. In 2017, 5,121 died. Then in the first 6 months of this year, 2,623 had already been recorded.
And these are conservative figures. Those ones
reported. Yes, a lot of them don't get reported. For example, most accidents in rural areas don't get reported. They don't take them to hospitals where they can be tracked and all that. They just go and bury them.
Are even buried.
And some people die, burnt beyond recognition, to the point that you can't even identify corpses, you cannot even count. You know, so this is the thing. More of our people die from accidents than they actually capture, than the MBS will capture. And 8,437 persons were injured. The truth is, if you have 8,437 people injured, 94% of them adults, it suggests to me that out of this figure, maybe even a quarter or half would die because of our dysfunctional health system. Even before, sometimes you rush people to hospital. Accident victims, they will say they will not treat them.
And sometimes
go and get a report. Go and get a report from police. You know,
statistics in Nigeria
down saying no bed.
Or they will say they should bring money.
Statistics in Nigeria most times are not reliable.
No, that's what we are saying.
So you are saying to the nearest whole number, that's what we have, 12,800 people
797.
killed.
I mean, why we talk about the statistics not being reliable, even these figures.
But you can guide us. You can guide us too.
They are even alarming. I mean, even when you have outbreak of serious diseases, even in some areas, and they get reported, you don't get to account this kind of figures we see in months, in a year. I mean, first 6 months of 2018, we are talking of a huge figure. But in as much as I quite agree with these manageable statistics that should guide us in knowing how fatal this situation is, I think something is missing that worries me, the causes of these deaths on the road. And that's the state of some of our roads. I drive...
When they talk about speed violation, the state of our roads is also a big factor in accidents.
People, let me, when you are driving from Ijebu-Ode and you coming towards Ikorodu, the moment you pass Idowa till you get to Maya in Ikorodu, the entire stretch of that road, a federal road, is bedeviled with potholes. And if you are coming and you are somebody who you are not used to that road, and you need to see the smoothness of the road from Ijebu to Idowa. Good road. Well, I mean, you can run as much. But if you are coming with that,
let me also, sorry, let me, it will help you.
Okay.
Let me also add that even where the road is smooth, people still drive and kill themselves.
That's what I'm saying. If you are even lucky to drive on that smooth road, moving at a speed, hoping or believing that the entire stretch of the road will be good.
And then you suddenly run into
this kind of thing. That's where you see two cars
let me quickly,
running into one another. So government should do something about the bad roads too.
I don't want Peter to run away. Peter, you are here. I know you came here by road.
My moderators, I greet you all.
Welcome.
Especially my good friend, Mr. Jide.
I greet you, Peter.
Yeah, I think the problem we're having in this country is that the system is not working at all. As we are talking about this in the next 10 years, we'll still talk about this same thing. I think we have so much money wasting away that we can use to reorganize ourselves. From here to the east, it's so far that sometimes I have witnessed where a car crashed into a trailer. All of them were just unconscious, shouting, help, help. Nobody could come for 2 hours. They all died. Can't we, in a way, erase the emergency centers? From here to Okene, you get one. From here to Ore, you get one. From here to, they have each point, you should have the security system. So if people, have an accident on these highways, you can rescue them even at midnight. Have, good cars that can run out with electricity system, We have so much money, or we'll get all the toll gate system, so that where there is toll gate, or the emergency give the word there. Abroad, you see all these things. Like, if anything happens to you, 20 kilometers, they will come to your rescue at that moment. It's just that we don't value life here.
Yeah.
So my second thing is, Jide, you offended me. I want to say it on live TV. I sent a message on Facebook too. There's something that happened in my area. You're the only one who trust who can do this. Please, I need the attention. It happened in Magodo where I did. Somebody blocked our road. And the people in land in Alausa have covered this mess. Everybody has raised their alarm. Nobody wants to talk about it. Just because the guy promised to give them money, they sell this one. And what we have been using for over 30 years. Please, we need your help.
Send me a message on Facebook.
Thank you. I will do that now. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, Peter. We begin to take it home now.
I'll take it home
in taking it home, let me go to where Jide mentioned a wee bit when I talked about anointing oil and holy water. Many drivers run into this cul-de-sac, especially when they are traveling. They go to the pastor or the imam, I'm traveling, and you are giving holy water. What is that oil called?
Olive oil.
Olive oil to pour on the engine and on. Service your vehicle, be travel ready before you set out. You don't need any holy water. I'm sorry, I may be wrong.
No, but then if we have people doing that.
Oh, they do.
If we have people doing that and they have so much faith
and you are carrying souls.
And you are carrying passengers. If your confidence in your pastor or in your imam, you believe it will work for you. What if it fails? And then a lot of souls goes down with you. I will join you in appealing to such to stop. Then there is one other thing, before I talk on what the last speaker said. We need to clear our motor parks and our garages of people selling paraga, people selling hot drinks.
You need more than...
It is too handy.
The government banned
but it is just banned. Go to the parks.
Alcohol synthesized with herbs. Government has banned the sales in motor parks, but the devil is in the enforcement.
The enforcement.
They have now come up with small ones that someone can slip into.
Just put it in your pocket.
Ori Malu, all of these things, they will just cut it, and then they go and kill people.
See, if it is available, they will keep taking it. Then I just want to quickly say...
There is that one, Chelsea. That reminds me of that football club.
You are advertising,
that London football club.
Please, you are advertising. That's your club.
What the last speaker said about response to accidents, I want to give kudos sincerely to the Lagos State government. I can't remember the name of this. They are new...
Lasambos.
No, not just Lasambos. There is this new...
An ambulance.
It has a name.
They have this mobile ambulance.
Yes, the office is at Kappa, near on that front. I've seen them respond 3-4 times, and it has been.
No, they respond in record time, but
Record time.
we need to have such across the country,
Yes,
especially
at
on
the
major
national
highways.
level,
That is
major
the
highways.
message that that guy is
But
giving
I give
us.
them kudos for that. It's
Oh,
wonderful.
okay. For me, in parting, let's just say accidents are never caused by the devil. They are caused by human beings. We wish you a safe driving.
And some human beings are worse than the devil.
Oh, yes.
It's
some
just that
human
we
beings-
find it convenient to blame the devil for everything.
everything,
You
yeah.
do something deliberately, it's the devil that you
devil's
blame.
work.
Okay, then.
It's the devil's work.
Our job for the midweek is through at the Hangout. And let me thank Dare Odufor for coming.
Thank you very much, sir.
A safe drive home.
I will try.
Okay. You're traveling by road?
Yeah, of course, by road.
Okay. Jide did the same thing with you.
Yes.
If you are going by road.
There is no big water on the way to my home. I would
The
have
railways
preferred
are
to
yet
travel
to
by
So
water.
the railways are yet to come.
All right, and so that's it for today. But please join us if you missed this particular broadcast. Watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on your screen now, and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel is the same. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Bless you.